Alright guys, it's raining outside and I don't have much to do, so I was just going to give a quick sort of review on our, well, new to us U25 Kubota. We got this machine a couple months ago, bought it second hand, and so far overall it is a pretty good unit to have. So I'm just going to go over some of the things this machine's got, what we had to buy for it, and sort of my overall opinion of it, things that I don't like as well about it. But yeah, like, we mainly do residential houses and that, and this machine is probably the perfect size for it. Nowadays the blocks of land are getting smaller and smaller. Like, you're talking 300 square meters, 400 square meters is probably the average property size, and yeah, it's just really tight on the job sites, and this being a zero swing, it really helps get into them tight spaces and you know, work on these tight job sites. So I guess we'll start here at the bucket. This bucket that's on it now came with the machine that when we bought it. It's I don't know what it is, an Impact. I haven't really heard of that brand, but it is a 1200 mud bucket, so 1200 mil wide. And what we realized is we had to buy some digging buckets for it, because they only come with a mud bucket. So that's a 450 digging bucket, and we bought a set of buckets. We got a 350 or 300 bucket, sorry, as well, and we actually had to swap them because we told him that the machine was a U25, and he just gave us a standard sort of hitch. So what ended up happening was, the pins were closer together, and we couldn't actually fit the buckets on. Yeah, so when we bought the machine, this hitch, it's got an Elite twin locking quick hitch on it. It's a very good hitch, but yeah, it's just a bit bigger than the standard U25 hitch. So we had to get the buckets, yeah, to suit the hitch. We had to swap them over. It says on the back there, it's for a VIO Yanmar 225 pickup or something. So yeah, but other than that, like, yeah, the hitch is really good. It's so good having a quick hitch. You don't have to get off the machine and pull the pins out like these half hitches, manual hitches, or you know, you just literally flick the switch and the bucket comes right back up off. But yeah, what I also like about the machine is, I greased it the other day, but most of the grease points are on the same sort of up there as well, and they're all on the sort of same side of the arm, so you just have to walk along one side of the machine, and you can get access to all your grease points there. This machine does come with the auxiliary hydraulics already plumbed up. We got an auger for this machine when we do piers and that, and yeah, literally just plugs straight into there, which is good. These hoses also come protected as well, which is good to see. What else? Going up along the arm, yeah, all the pins and that are tight, all the bushes. This machine isn't that old. It's only got, I think 600 hours on it, so it hasn't done much work, but we've used it a bit and sort of yeah. But going down to the blade, it is pretty solid blade. As you can see, the machine's dirty because we've been using it lately, but yeah, what I like is this, it's pretty beefy. Yeah, just that reinforcement is good to see. It looks heavy duty in that, which it is. But the only downside to it is if you're pushing dirt, and then sometimes it'll come over the back here and this is like a platform for it, and the dirt just piles up on this. And then yeah, so every once in a while you gotta like get a shovel, clean off all the dirt that sits on there. But other than that, it is pretty good. The blade is pretty solid structure. I don't know if you can see under there, but everything's pretty heavy duty. You got protection on these hoses as well. Got a grease point there. The hydraulic cylinder is pretty strong as well. Like you can get the machine off the ground pretty easily and that. Yeah, it does have a work light there, which I haven't had to use much because we don't really use the machine in the dark too often, but it is good to have. You got 2 extra lights up there. This is an open canopy machine. Obviously they don't do a machine, well this series, the U25-3, they don't do it in a cab. I think the U27-4, I think they do in a cab. But yeah, moving on to the tracks. The tracks on this machine are in pretty good condition. Haven't been worn too much. As you can see, it is a bit dirty. As I said, we've been using it recently, so it needs a clean. But yeah, all the rollers and that are good. You got your drive motor there, sprocket, which is good. What is good about these machines is, as you can see, it's a 0 swing. So when you swing around, the back part stays within the tracks. And honestly, it's come in handy a lot for me, especially working on the tight, compact job sites. You don't have to worry about your tail just hanging out and swinging into something and scratching it all up. But there is a con with it. What I've noticed is, yes, you do get the 0 swing and you don't have to worry about it, but if you got like a heavy bucket of, you know, clay, lately I was working in the mud because it's been raining a lot here. You pick up a bucket like this, because it's 1200, you know, it's a bit heavier bucket than having just like your standard meter muddy on there. But if you have a bucket full of clay in this and you swing out to the side, it will tip. This machine is very tippy. Like if you have a heavy load on the in the bucket and that, you got to be careful if you're swinging over the sides and that, because it doesn't have enough counterweight to, you know, keep the machine stable. So yes, you get 0 tail swing and that, but you also, yeah, lose a bit of stability with the machine. So you got to be careful of that. That's sort of one sort of downside to it, but I guess you can't have the best of both worlds. But yeah, anyways, in the cab, it's all right. It's pretty good. You get some decent foot room and that here. As you can see, you got your pedals that swivel. That does your boom swing, and I think the other one's your auxiliary, runs the auxiliary hydraulics. But you can oh, how do these work again? Yeah, flip that up. You just flip that up like that, and then you can no longer move it side to side, and it becomes a footrest now. You get a grab rail here, which is good, handy getting on the machine. Another grab rail up there, but jumping up into the machine. Put these guys on the phone. Yeah, that's sort of the view you get. I like to have the boom sort of swiveled a bit to the side in order to see that side of the mud bucket, because if you have it in the center, yeah, it's hard to see. But yeah, you got your track levers, as you said. No, that's your boom swing, sorry. This is your auxiliary hydraulics on this side, track levers. But the only thing I do not like about this machine is you get no sort of travel pedals. I wish I had some coming off the side or something. Just if you're tracking back and forward, you can just put your feet on there, and as you're driving you can do stuff with the arm as well. It doesn't come with travel pedals, which is sort of a big downside to it. I wish our other machine had track pedals and I got used to using them, and then when I jumped on this machine, I'll constantly go to use it, and there's nothing to, you got to track it all by hand, or sometimes I even put my foot in the middle and push both track levers. But yeah, that's sort of another downside to the machine. I guess to save room, foot room, it does come with a cup holder here, which is not too bad. Yeah, joysticks, controls. This machine's pretty basic. It's nothing flash, like you got no rocker switches or nothing to control your boom swing or hydraulic on either joystick. That one doesn't have anything as well. It's just basic plain, no triggers on the back or nothing, just your simple joysticks. This is your blade control. As you can see, this green button on here is how you control the 2-speed travel. So if you're tracking along and you want to go fast, you just press that button, and then you'll go into rabbit mode, press it again, you'll go into turtle. You got your revs here, slow, fast. That is your quick hitch switch for the quick hitch, so you just flick that on and on. You do get an armrest. The thing that I like about this machine is you get armrests, which is really good. You get one on this side as well, which they fold up out of the way if you don't want to use them anyways, but it's good to have the armrest. But what I found is that if you're working, I'll have my arm sitting like this, but there's one instance where I almost ran out of fuel. The machine started beeping at me and I had to stop to see what was wrong, and it was because when you have this down, it blocks your gauge. Like if I flip it up, so you can see all your gauges in here now, like your fuel, fuel temperature, hours and all that. You got your lights there, but yeah, I was working and I had that down, and when you go to look down, you can't see anything, so you have to constantly flip that up to check your fuel or your temperature or something, and then yeah, flip it down and then go back to work. But yeah, that's another sort of downside to it, which is another thing which I don't like. I know some of the Kubotas and other machines have the screens up here, which you can see. It's so easy to see, and you don't have to constantly flip this up and that to keep checking yeah, or your fuel and all, your temperature and all that. But yeah, and also getting out of the machine, I noticed this is a bit narrow. I know it's a compact machine, it is a bit narrow, so you kind of got to squeeze sideways getting onto the machine through it. But I guess like it's so compact, and that's sort of another kind of, it is a bit narrow, but that's what you got to sacrifice. Moving to the back, this is the engine compartment, as you can see. Yeah, as I said, it's a little bit dirty in here, but serviceability is pretty good. I'll just turn my flashlight on so you can see. As you can see right there, you got your fuel filter, you got other filter down there, you got your oil fill there, and your oil, your dipstick is there, so you can check all the oil. You got your air filter right there, pretty accessible, pretty easy to get to everything, which is pretty good. Coming around the side, you got this little compartment here, this little hood here, and that does come up, but as you can see right now it's locked, so you need to grab the key out of there and then unlock it. So that does pop up. You do need, it does not stay up, you do need to I'm trying to do this one-handed. Do need to put that in. Alright, so that's stays up now. You got your hydraulic tank here as well, your radiator back in there, your battery. It is pretty squash, it is pretty compact in here. The only thing I don't like about this machine is going to fill it up, and you do that pretty often. This is your fuel tank in here, this is a fuel fill, and it is a bit of a pain in the ass to fill this machine up, because we don't have like a pump, like you're pumping from a petrol bowser or something into it. You don't have the handle you can just put in there. We usually fill it up with the jerry can and that, and honestly you don't have a lot of room when you undo that and you pour the jerry can. You can't really get it right up. As you can see, this hood gets in the way. It is a bit awkward. I wish I made it a bit easier to put this somewhere else, you know, made it a bit easier to fill up, but it is what it is, I guess. Not a major deal, but not a major problem, but yeah, like just making it just that bit easier would be nice. Close that up, put the key back. But yeah, like overall, as I said, we haven't had this, we've had it for a couple months. Sort of still getting used to it. The machine, it is pretty good overall. As I said, it's perfect size for what we need it for, 2.5 ton sort of range. It is compact in that, which is really good. And yeah, overall, it is a good machine. If you look at that blind one, it's definitely worth the money. Yeah, like it's just, you can get in tight places, this and that. It's only 1500 wide, so it can get in those narrow places that say a 3.5 ton machine can't get into. And you got more grunt, more power than, you know, your sort of mini, like 1.7 ton excavators, which is what we come from. So yeah, overall it is a good machine. It does have a couple cons, but yeah, it's just totally up to you if this is the right machine for your line of work. But for us, it does the job and it does it pretty well. I don't mind driving it. I like the cats. I prefer the cat machines, but the Kubotas are pretty good as well. But yeah, so I hope this sort of helps you out.